Well, I'll get there.
Recent, yeah.
I'll get there. This is the most confusing shit you'll ever hear, by the way.
Yeah.
Try
to keep up.
Yeah, 7 more films have been released in the franchise. 3 sequels, we'll get there someday. A 2003 remake. A 2006 prequel to that remake. A 2013 3D rebooted sequel to the original film, ignoring the events of the actual sequels. And a 27 prequel to the original, giving an origin to Leatherface. What the fuck, Hollywood?
Because, why would you then go back
I don't know.
to make a sequel to the original when you have the remake? You could have made a sequel to the remake. You made a prequel to the remake, and now you can make a sequel to the remake.
Leave the originals alone.
Because you can make a sequel to the remake all you want, because as good as it was, because it was alright, it's not this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
so don't go back to this.
Yeah, like, they gave him a name of, like, Thomas Hewitt or some such shit. I'm like, what? Like, what's the Sawyer thing, then? Like, I don't know. Is it like a Wolverine thing where he gave himself the name Logan, but it turns out his name is actually James Hewitt? I don't know. Makes no damn sense. In 2000, the 2003 remake by Michael Bay's Platinum Dunes is credited with starting a horror reboot phase that saw most of the slasher franchises rebooting to varying recognition and quality and success. That was not a good idea.
Thanks,
they all made
Michael
money.
Bay.
They all made money, and I understand, like, as much as I think it is dog shit, I understand the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, I understand the Friday the 13th remake.
That one was actually alright.
Friday the 13th was fine.
Because you can't really fuck it up.
Yeah, it's kind of that same thing. I'll just point it out now, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 is a piece of shit.
Really? You don't like it at all,
I fucking hate it. I absolutely fucking hate it. Thankfully, we don't cover movies from the 2000s, so you can't make me do it.
Yeah.
But, like, the fact that they reviewed shit like, or they redid shit like My Bloody Valentine and fucking
Black Christmas.
And, like, I'm sorry, people don't know these movies. Like, why are you remaking
We know these
We know them. I know them because I'm a nutcase. Nobody should know these. And, like, there's certain movies that somehow didn't get a remake. Fucking Sleepaway Camp didn't get a remake. How is that possible? Although, we'll get there next week and I'll let you know. Spoiler alert. There was an unreleased prequel to the original series entitled All-American Massacre, directed by William Tony Hooper, son of Tobe Hooper. The film began as a 15-minute short, shot on high-resolution digital video, but was eventually turned into a 60-minute featurette. A trailer for the film is shown on the official website. Don't know what happened.
You know, as he did we talked about Rob Zombie. I would have much rather see him redo Texas Chainsaw Massacre than Halloween.
I agree, because it looked like that's what he was going with his Halloween movie.
That's what all these, it's a family of killer hillbillies,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he loves that kind of stuff, so
just give him the actual keys.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't. I mean, I'll tell you what I think about the 2007 remake as well, of Halloween. I liked it, but it didn't need to be Halloween. We could have had an entire movie about the hillbilly family with that killing kid, and we didn't need to force Halloween in there.
Yeah.
And that's all what would have been good enough for me. So, anyway.
Leading to my point of, you should have just given him
this. Like, this is his movie. Like, when you see House of a Thousand Corpses, how do you not go, okay, well, if we're remaking, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, why not get that guy to do it? You know? The fact that the 2003 one wasn't made by him, I don't know. Like, he'd done House of a Thousand Corpses. Why do they not go, oh, fuck, give it to that guy. He knows.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Almost done here. Following the release of Leatherface, released in 2017, the producers had the rights to make 5 more Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. In April 2015, producer Krista Campbell stated that the fate of potential films would largely depend on the financial reception and perceived fan reactions regarding the 2017 prequel. Campbell clarified in December 2017 that Lionsgate and Millennium Films had lost the franchise rights due to the time it took to release. So it took 2 years for that movie to actually come out. On August 24th, 2018, Legendary Pictures had bought the rights to the franchise with a new film and a television series in development. On September 19th, 2019, it was announced that Fede Alvarez would be producing the next film. Why? Just leave well enough alone.
Like, he's alright, I think he's the guy that did the Evil Dead.
I think he did.
Remake?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
And that was a pretty good movie.
And it was decent.
Out of all these remakes since,
it was one of the
2003,
few. It was one of the few. Ironically, one of the other ones, Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a lot like this.
Yeah. So there's some gems in there.
There is some good. I'm not shitting on all the remakes, but
you didn't need to make everything.
No.
I get it. Just like these were made, they were made on the cheap, you made money. You make the remakes on the cheap, you make money. Listen, I get it. I understand.
Yep.
Again, the international language of money.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
You don't have to.
No. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
You know? But that's been the crime of Hollywood for a long time.
Pretty much.
Either way, we get our 50th episode
that was a lot.
Up and going with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. With the opening text and the great voiceover.
John Larroquette killing it.
Explaining what you're about to see. People are going to die, and it's bad.
I mean, people always point out the fact that he mispronounced a couple words. I don't care.
No, whatever.
It kind of works.
Okay, so what? Nobody's perfect.
You know what? As much as all these people complain that he mispronounced a couple words, he pronounced macabre right.
Yeah.
And most people you talk to don't know how to pronounce that word. It's one of those words. There's two words that I have pet peeves for. That and the word corps, as in, like, military. The U.S. Marine Corps or whatever.
Corpse.
People always say corpse, and people argue with me. Like, guys, that's not how you pronounce it. Okay. But no, it's one of those words where I'm like, you just stop saying it.
So a news report kicks off our film with the credits, and it's great, because it's just this, like...
It's constant.
This sound effect in the back that goes... And it messes with your brain.
Yeah.
And you just see the names just flash on the screen. It's people you don't know, so that's probably why you got people, because you see that, but then you see like a big name, big Hollywood name, you're like, oh, okay, kind of distracting.
Guys. A little bit, but it's a big Hollywood name to us.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, at the time, nobody knew who these fucks were.
No, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm glart it was. Like, at the time, if he would have gone down and gotten...
Yeah, it was like a fucking
time,
Brad Pitt, or who, I don't know who the fuck was big in the 70s.
Burt Reynolds.
I literally was about to say the same thing. Fuck, don't take my names. Burt Reynolds, the only one anyone knows from the 70s.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, no.
And what I like about the news report is that it's just talking about different things, like
but it's also
horrifying things that are happening in society.
But it's clearly all referencing to a lot of it is referencing to stuff that they did.
Yeah.
Like, and the whole thing is all the images we're seeing are building up to this massive, like, crucified body on
a headstone.
On a headstone, and you're just like, well, I know who did that.
Yeah.
Although we don't yet, but still.
And we smash cut, to a dead armadillo.
Yep.
On the road.
Because, why not?
And a van off in the distance. And it's a group of kids, just going for a drive. One of them's in a wheelchair.
Our designated victims,
yes.
as I like to call them. Our DVs.
One of them is in a wheelchair. Do you believe invalid is used, the word invalid?
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, that's what that was the technical term.
I guess, because I'm like, he can talk still, and he can...
No, but he cannot walk. That was invalid.
Because when I think invalid, I think of someone who
you
can...
think completely. But actually then, and, people are going to get mad when I use it eventually, but it's like, that's what they called retarded, is when you couldn't speak.
Right.
You were mentally retarded. All of these are technical words. I know they have fallen out of favor, but they're all technical words. Yeah.
So they bring him out of the van. He's got to go for a pee. He falls down a hill. It's not very good.
There is no need for this whatsoever.
Because nothing happens.
But it works.
Because then it's just like, they just get him back in the van and they're driving still.
Yeah. But again, all of this is kind of just setting up mood, which is actually working.
One of them's reading an astrology book talking about
immediately hating
Mercury in retrograde, and you're just like, oh, okay.
I'm like, thank you. I know. I'm so glad what happens to you happens. I don't like astrology. I think it's idiotic.
They come across, I think the purpose of them is that they're visiting their grandpa's house, the man in the wheelchair, Franklin, and his sister, Sally. And their friends are visiting their grandpa's house, I believe?
Yeah, well, it's the I'm guessing the grandpa has passed away.
Yes, and they want to check on his grave because they're hearing reports of grave robbing, and they want to make sure
it's good, and he's got a house that might be theirs by this point, or their parents at least. So they're just like, let's go up to the house because we spent summers here. Let's go take a look.
And while Sally's being led into the graveyard, some old drunk man is just spouting off.
He's just
like, I've seen some things, and like I think he's alluding to the Sawyer family.
He is, yeah.
Things.
But he's a drunk.
But you're not going to listen to him because he's a crazy old man. He's
exactly.
Drunk. They drive by a slaughterhouse. They have a very, very long conversation of how in the old ways of slaughtering animals, it was hard. You would have to hit them with a hammer, and you'd have to hit them 2-3 times, and sometimes they still didn't die. So when they were cutting them up, they were still alive, and like.
Which, ironically, is how they get veal.
Yeah, some of the people in the car cannot stand it. They're like, okay, Franklin,
he's just
enough.
Like, Franklin,
Jesus.
I want to keep eating meat someday. Will you shut
like,
up?
I eat meat, Franklin, so I want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
So please stop. And then they go to the modern ways with the big airsoft gun, and it gets the job done, but it's not as whatever. They
say it's not. It's weird. No, because they don't say that yet. It's the other guy who says it. So he's just like, yeah, that's how they do it now. It's just like you shoot it in, you pull it out, and they're gone. It's quick.
No problem.
It's efficient. It's no problem, and that is true. And they still use it to this day.
And they pick up a hitchhiker.
Yeah, they literally just like, hey, it's a hitchhiker. Let's pick him up. And like, okay, and then they look at him.
It's Franklin who thinks he looks like Dracula.
Yeah, and then they look at him like, oh, he looks messed up. Maybe we shouldn't pick him up. And then they're like, why? I'm like, Cause he looks messed up.
Because
he looks messed up.
I get it. From what I'm gathering, even though it's Texas, Texas still had hippies too. Like hippies were everywhere. You can look at Jerry, the driver. He looks just
well,
like
the chick's reading a fucking astrology book. Clearly, she's a hippie.
And Kirk looks like fucking Matthew McConaughey. Ironic because he's later on in the series. But. So I get it, like free love. Let's pick them up. Let's all,
We're all brothers on this fucking.
We're all brothers and sisters on this road, man.
No. Some people just want to kill you.
Okay, fine. I get that. Hey, I get that.
Sure.
Once you get him in the van, you take one look at him. He's got blood on his face. He's acting erratically. He's
shaking constantly, and he's like giggling to himself and rocking back and forth. You kick that guy out immediately.
He takes the knife away from Franklin.
Well, yeah. They start having a conversation about. Slaughterhouses because they ask him if he worked at the slaughterhouse, trying to explain the blood on his face.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, do you work at the slaughterhouse? And he's like, I used to, and blah, blah, blah. And then they talk about, this is when they have the conversation about how they kill the animals.
It's like, no, the old way was better.
The old way was better in this. And then they start describing what head cheese is. And, that nobody could handle that conversation. And I'm like, yeah, because head cheese is fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
It's meat jello.
Yep.
That's all it is. And it's not like, oh, well, it's, like a rump roast or something. No. It's face jello.
Yeah.
It's head jello.
Although Franklin just like, I love it. I think it's.
Well, he doesn't think that. The guy like asks him like, do you like head cheese? He's like, well, yeah, I like it. And like at this point, I'm pretty sure if he even remotely tries to disagree with him, he's gonna like fucking.
Yeah, I like anything that you like.
Whatever
buddy.
You want, pal. You are the one with the blood in your face.
So Franklin's got a knife,
and he's like, and he grabs the knife.
Grabs the knife like out of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he holds it.
Yep.
He opens his hand.
Well, because no, he didn't take the picture yet.
No.
He literally takes the knife, cuts his hand, and they all start screaming.
It's at this point you stop the car and give him the boot.
But no, we don't do that. So he hands the knife back to him perfectly normal.
Yep.
And like Franklin's looking at it going, the fuck just happened? And then the fucking guy takes out a picture, takes out a big giant camera, which is where we get that sound effect that is so goddamn good in the trailer. And he just takes a picture of Franklin. And then he's waiting, and they're like, okay, buddy, I think we're going to have to let you go. And I'm like, now? Why is he still in here? But anyway, so then he hands the picture to him and says, like, give me some money, $2 or something. And he's just like, I'm sorry, I don't want it.
Yeah.
So then fucking, he goes, okay. Pulls out tinfoil out of his, like, weird bag that he's got around him, which could be made out of human. We don't know.
Could be human hair. It's hair, but I don't know if it's an animal or if it's a person.
Pulls out the tinfoil, puts the picture down, puts gunpowder on it, and again, we're still not kicking him out of the van, and he lights the shit on fire and it sparkles, and he's just like, oh my god, this is awesome, and then they're just like, alright, now it's time to go, dickhead.
Well, he had a switchblade on his person.
Yeah, and then he grabs, as they're about to like try and kick him out of it, he pulls out a knife, goes, look at this knife. Then fucking grabs.
Not a switchblade. It's a
razor.
Straight razor. Straight razor.
Yeah. Pulls it out, cuts Franklin's arm, and then they're like, "Finally, you're out of here."
Then they boot him out. He smears
blood
on the van.
Kicks the van, and then they drive away. And like Franklin, aside from being cut, fucking can't handle any of this shit.
Yeah.
And so
they drive into a Gulf gas station. Mm-hmm. 10-cent Coca-Colas like the 70s.
Yep.
The attendant there is obviously...
He turns out to be the old man.
Is that what the old man...
Yeah.
Is that the old man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I wasn't sure, because I didn't think that character returned.
No, it's the old man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the old man.
No, not the old man. The person sitting there that washes the van.
Oh, that guy? No, that guy just gone. I think
But-
he went home for the night when all this shit
And I
went down.
think again, I don't want to. Again, I get what
Sure.
year it is. I don't want to. He's a mongoloid. Is that what the term was?
That was more. That was not a technical term.
Yeah.
That was more of a bit of a slang term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a very protruding.
Yeah,
forehead
he's like
and-
basically what like that was not